Hi guys, good morning, good evening. I hope my
Good
audio is
evening.
fine. Yeah. So let's. I was thinking maybe we'll wait for 2 more minutes. Get started. So is there someone who has not joined yesterday's session? Maybe.
Yes, Mohammed. I'm not able. I could not able to join the call actually yesterday.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyone else? Maybe. Like most of them were available in the last session. I think. Can remember Aravind was there. Muhammad, I didn't capture. Maybe I didn't get him yesterday. Maybe.
Do you have any recording section yesterday, Mohammed?
Yes. Yes. I think it is there. Yesterday's session is there. Maybe
Oh,
in the group they have shared it. I think
oh.
the YouTube video. Yeah.
Uh, you mean to say group is WhatsApp group or what?
Yeah. WhatsApp group. The group where we get the updates. No, same group.
No, this is I got the from mail actually. I'm not there
Okay.
in
Okay.
the WhatsApp group actually.
Oh, if you have not been added, then please inform the admin. Maybe they can add you to the group.
Oh, Isha is your group admin.
Whoever is sending you, no, you can just reply on that.
Okay, okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe let's get started then. Uh, maybe just a quick intro about myself, since maybe some people might have not joined yesterday. So myself, Siddharth. So I'll be a trainer for this Power BI session, Power BI with Azure as an add-on. So just to give an introduction about the course, let's spend some time on it, since we like some of them didn't join yesterday. Maybe 5 minutes we can spend on that. I'll share my screen. Please let me know if it's visible. So is my screen visible, everyone?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So yesterday we spent some time on the course, right? What we are going to discuss and what we are going to learn from this course, right? Just to give an outline of what is going to happen, just 5 minutes we'll spend on what has happened yesterday. So we understood what we are going to learn in this course. So we'll understand the basics of Power BI, right? How that installation, configuration, interface, what are the options available, and all those things we will learn in the first part of the course, right? We'll do that. Maybe today we'll do some of these things before we leave, right? And the next part comes where you get to import the data. For example, any data from different multiple data sources you can import it, right? That is the second part of the course, where Power Query Editor becomes the key highlight of that this part of the course. So we'll be understanding how Power Query, or the query editor, to be in simple put in simple terms, how query editor becomes very important as the Power BI's backend, and how we'll import the data from multiple sources and other things, right? We'll look into that in a lot detail, right? We'll do that. We'll be seeing some data profiling tools, right? How the data that comes is validated before we push it into front end, right? And some basic transformations like pivoting, unpivoting, merging, then basic transformations we'll be doing there before we push it into the front end. So this is what we'll be covering in the second part of the course, right? So the third part, once the looks fine, right, we'll be moving it to the front end, so that is a place where you will be bringing those tables to connect, to form a repo. So that is where you create a model, right? So you create a model with the tables that are available. You connect tables based on the primary key. You set primary key and foreign key and other things, right? How to identify what is a foreign key, how to identify the primary key, right? All these things we'll be doing that there, right? In schema, we'll be learning a little bit about what is a schema, what are the types of schema and other things, right? Then cardinality, then filter direction, right? All these things we'll be understanding in detail in the modeling section. So this is a really important part where, because without, let's say, connections, right? Without connecting the tables, we'll not have that connectivity, right? Because the independent tables will not give us enough information, right? So that is where this becomes a very important part, right? Then, again, this is a really important part. We'll be doing the transformations and additional, let's say, we'll be calculating things, right? What you want based on the requirement of the user, right? We'll be calculating multiple things based on the language called DAX. So we'll be using data analysis expressions to create calculated columns and measures. So we'll understand what are calculated columns and measures, what are the differences between them, right? Then understand the backend logic of measure calculation, how the calculation happens, right? Then a syntax, basic syntax of DAX, right? Operators and functions, what are available, right? Math and stat function, counting, logical function, text, right? Date function, time intelligence functions, right? Some important functions we'll be learning, like related, and calculate, etc., right? Sum x, etc. So this is the very important fourth part of the course, which we will cover in great detail, because this is where most of the time will be, right? Around, we'll spend some time on this tax. Okay, so that is the idea. Coming to the next part, we'll be spending a lot of time in data visualization again. Okay, so once our data is ready to be viewed, right? So we'll be showing it in multiple ways that are possible using the visualization tools that are available in Power BI, right? So we'll be using multiple things like cards, charts, right? Then tables, metrics, maps, right? Slicers, drill up, drill down functions, right? We'll see how to understand, how to use them. Sorry, and bookmarks. We'll see parameters. How we can use parameters to modify the let's say visuals that we have, right? How to then custom tooltips. We'll learn some basic managing roles. Then we'll learn how to manage the roles in, let's say, how to set the roles in Power BI, right? Then mobile layouts we'll understand. Power BI service a little bit we'll be learning, not in detail, but we'll be understanding how Power BI service is going to work, right? Then data visualization and dashboarding practices we'll understand. The whole of this course will be understanding in detail till the visualization practice. Okay, this is the Power BI part of the course, and some additional parts are also there related to Power BI. So that comes where you have the latest AI features. So we'll be seeing what is anomaly detection, then Q&A visuals, smart narratives there, decomposition trees, key influencers, how these different visuals make the use of AI and give us very important, let's say, insights that generally we won't be able to think directly, are not very trivial, right? Such things can be done by AI. So that those features we'll be seeing in some time, right? That is there. Then comes the Power BI Optimize ribbon. So as I mentioned yesterday, the Power BI in any reporting, any dashboarding tool, it's a problem where you want to optimize the report opening time. So that is where the Power BI, let's say, performance analyzer and optimization presets, pausing visuals, and apply all slices all come into picture. So these are very important. So we'll be understanding them in detail. We'll be using this in our dashboard that we're going to build. So all of these are the Power BI part of the course. So all of these points that have been mentioned here, we will be working hands-on, and we'll be doing it. We'll be building this dashboard from scratch, from a free page, from a blank page, right? We'll do that. So coming to the final part, we'll be looking into the Azure part of the course, where we have a particular scenario where we have a SQL server on-prem data source, and we'll be moving that into the Azure Cloud Synapse Analytics, and we'll be reporting that from the Azure Cloud. So cloud wise, right, it's really important nowadays to understand things. So Azure, in this course, we'll be understanding a little bit about how Data Factory helps in that data ingestion, right? And how the data is stored in Data Lake Gen 2, and Databricks, how it helps in transformations, right? All those things we'll be understanding in detail. Okay, and then we'll be reporting that data into Power BI from Azure Synapse, right? We'll be doing that. At the end, we'll be making an end-to-end pipeline to, let's say, ingest the data from the raw, that is system that is available on-prem, right? Any data refresh that happens will be, let's say, visualized in the report, right? So that's the idea. That's the whole course. In just, I just wanted to give you a highlight because some people didn't have the opportunity to get yesterday's class, right? So this is the course, right? This is what we are going to learn. So just maybe any questions or anything in this part do you have? Maybe we can spend 2 minutes if you want. We will start actually the installation and the basic setup of Power BI today. That is the idea. So any questions, anyone, about the course or anything? Yeah.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Hi, Mohammed. Doing good.
Are you fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Sir, I would like to ask a few questions.
Yes, go ahead, Mohammed.
That and how many total hours of this course? Total hours.
So just to give you an idea, see, if you just add these course hours, right, it will almost come up to 25 to 30 hours. But I will not say generally, like till from my experience till now what I have taken, right, it generally takes 35 to 40 hours to complete this course because like frankly speaking, many questions will come, and clearing those questions and other things takes a little bit of, let's say, additional 5 hours, I'll say. So generally 35 to, I'll say 32 to 37 hours is the average, I'll say,
Okay.
to complete this course.
Weekly rest.
Yes. I don't, as I actually mentioned yesterday also, I don't take on weekends. But in case, let's say, for example, some of the users find time on weekends only. So in such cases, special cases, right, maybe I give some exception. But generally, I don't prefer people to, I keeping people engaged on Saturdays and Sundays.
Saturday and Sunday only.
Yeah, no. We have the course only on weekdays, Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
Friday,
Okay.
9 p.m. to 10 p.m.
9 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Monday to Friday. Okay. How many charges?
Charges in the sense, I didn't get you, Mohammed.
Free of cost, all this course.
No. The cost you can discuss with the admin who have added you, right? They are the people who collect and all redeem and everything. So let's maybe spend some time on this later. Maybe Mohammed, we can connect on this later. Okay, you can connect
Okay.
maybe related to the course with the admin. Okay.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. No issue. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mohammed. Yeah, thanks. So let's. Any other questions, anyone, related to the course? I mean, the technical aspect of the course, to be precise.
Sorry, sir. One question arises now.
Yeah, Mohammed. Go ahead.
We can work on this Microsoft and Microsoft Azure account. We don't have.
Okay.
You provide this account.
So this question might have come for many people, right? How we'll be working on Microsoft Azure. So generally, Microsoft gives you the opportunity to learn about the Azure tools free of cost for 1 month, and it gives you a credit of $200, which you can use for 1 month. Okay. So this is actually offered by Microsoft. So you need not worry about the cost and charges or anything. So we'll be making use of that Azure free trial account for 1 month, which we'll be using for our course. We'll be understanding all of the Azure tools in that.
But already I tried to make this account, but I don't make.
That I think we can fix. Maybe if you have already tried, no, maybe some other account we can make use, and we can do it. No problem.
You can help us in this.
Yeah. Maybe we can spend some time on that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so maybe let's proceed. Maybe let's keep the questions later. Okay. So just to give an update, so today we'll be understanding about the Power BI installation and other things, right? So just before understanding that, I wanted to show you what are the processes, how step by step we'll be processing, right? So first, as I mentioned, we'll be working with the Power Query editor, right? So editing happens here. So if I show you the dashboard here in this case, so in my home, I have my transform data. So this might be some, if you have used Power Query Editor in, let's say, Excel, right? Power Pivot or anything, right? You might have seen the screen. It might be really, let's say, common to use, right? It won't be different, right? So this Power Query Editor is the place where you import all the data that you have. So different files. From, in this case, for example, we have some data from flat files, right? We have data from databases, right? All of these things will be importing from multiple data sources, and query editor is where you bring the data in and do the transformations, as I mentioned yesterday. So that is the first part of the course, right? As I mentioned, the Power Query Editor, and it's often referred to as the backend of Power BI, right? So you will not know what has happened in the backend. You just bring that data through Power Query Editor into the front end, that is the modeler and the data view, right? Then comes the modeling part, right? The modeling is where you just bring that data inside, right? So this view you can see is the modeler, right? So you create models like this, connect the tables, and all of those things which I mentioned earlier, we'll be doing here, right? That is the second part of the course. Then the third part is data view transformations, right? We create some DAX related expressions and other things. So like you actually will be creating some tables and some columns and measures, right? Some numbers, some calculations using DAX, right? We'll do such calculations and create the required measures that will be going to be used in the next part, that is the visualization, right? So we'll be creating such visuals over here, right? Using the measures that we have made, create charts, custom tooltips, right? Tables, key KPI cards, right? Then geographical coordinates, how we can use, right, to represent data. Then information in multiple ways, like using parameters to control the chart, right? There are multiple things that will come into play. So we'll be able to see how to build these things, right? There are some AI visuals also. So how to create smart insights like these, right? So such things we'll be seeing. Then other AI visuals like decomposition trees, key influencers, and other things we'll be seeing in detail. We'll be understanding these things in the visualization part, right? So this is the overall flow that is going to happen in this course. So we'll be getting the data in Power Query Editor, doing some basic transformations, like let's say pushing the let's say headers, right, and giving the correct data types, right, getting the transformation, let's say data profiling to be done, some additional, let's say empty values or anything, if it's there we can remove, some errors can be omitted, all those things we can do here. Okay, doing that, we'll be moving to the modeler. We'll be connecting the tables, primary key, foreign key, and other things, right? Then we'll have the measure calculations, DAX, and other things. Everything comes here. And at the end, we'll be building the visuals. So this is the entire flow. Okay, this is what we are going to do. Now, to do this, let's start with the basic installation and everything of Power BI, right? So for installation of Power BI, there are multiple places from where you can install Power BI, right? So you can do that from the App Store in Microsoft, right? So you can just open the Microsoft App Store, right? In that, you can just type in, just simply type Power BI, right? And just enter. And you will have the first application that has been here, right? Power BI Desktop, right? This is the application that you need. So in this case, actually, I have already installed this. That is why you're able to see this, right, before. So this is what you have to install. So actually installing through the store has a lot many advantages, because let's say some updates and all happen, you will get it straight away, right, seamlessly. You won't be able to understand how that update happened, but you'll have the latest version of Power BI. The latest features will come to your things, right? That way it's really useful sometimes. Okay, so you can install it from here. Once it is installed, you'll be able to open the Power BI Desktop. That is the first place where you can install. Let's say if you don't have the store, right, App Store, right, Microsoft Store, you're not having access to it. So then actually there's a second method. You can manually install from the Microsoft website. So before I continue, I forgot to mention that Power BI Desktop is a free tool that is available, open source, to everyone who has a desktop or a laptop. You can just install Power BI desktop. To be clear, Power BI desktop you can install and run in any system that you have, right? There are other services of Power BI. There's a Power BI service license that you get. That is actually a paid version. But the version that I use here, right? In this case, the Power BI tool that I use, this desktop version is free of cost. Okay, so you can install it anywhere. So to install this manually, you have a link here. I'll just share this URL with you. So if you just open this URL, so there is the Power BI download location, right? So there are multiple ways you can install Power BI. You can install in mobile, right? You can install on-premise, right? Then report server is there. You can, there's a report builder application also. So right, there are multiple things. But now in this case, we want the Power BI dashboard. So in this case, you can download it from here, but this will actually lead you to the store only again, right? But there's an advanced download option over here. This is what will lead you to the download file, right? So if you click on this advanced download options, you'll be taken to a page where you can download the Power BI application, right? So there are multiple versions and all available. So recent one and everything is there. You can get full information about how to install, let's say install and other things over here, system requirements and everything, right? You'll be able to see over here. So this is the latest version now of Power BI. So it's 2.1.47. I think this was released in September. So this is the version. Actually, even I also have the same version. So you can install this version also. Even if you install from store, right, you'll have the same thing, right? You'll get the latest version only. So you can download this file, and installation is really simple. I think you can handle all those things, right? That's really simple. Yeah. So these are the two places where you can download Microsoft Power BI. There is a third place also, but it's not really trivial. That actually comes as a package of Microsoft 365 Office package, right? So that is also where you can get a Power BI license. If you have an Office 365 license, maybe you can get Power BI as part of it. Okay, that's it. So these are the three places you can install Power BI. So installation and configuration, I hope everybody can handle. It's really simple, not very hard, right? You can just get the file, install it from multiple places. Okay. So just to continue here, right? So how we can start a file, right? Let's maybe start building a file. So in this case, I'll do one thing. Since I've already opened a file, you can just click on this blank document, right? Blank file. So you can just click on it. So this is how the Power BI dashboard will look when you just open it, right? You'll have all the options over here: file, home, insert, right? The home tab will have most of the things that you need, right? The get data, this is the place where you get the data, right? Insert tab is there where you can insert multiple visuals. AI visuals are there, Power Platform, integrations and other things, some basic elements, right? All those things. Then modeling related things we'll get here. Then view, some different options that you can see over here, right? You can control over here, right? So this is just a basic overview of things. This is the optimized ribbon that I spoke about. We'll be seeing this in detail, right? Also, there are some help, let's say related things that Power BI offers to, for example, if you have any quick doubt that you want to solve, right? So there are many training videos and documentation that you can use. There is a community, right? Then you have multiple things over here you can use, right? Different thing. So let's quickly maybe start with a basic, let's say, import of data, right? So just before that, let's try to understand our file structure. Actually, I have a lot of files that you can already use, right? So I have this Power BI folder, right? I've created this folder. People can use this. This will be shared with you once once we start the course, right? So in this case, there are some additional softwares that you might require. Azure related, data related, there are some files and folders and related things, right? There are some course related documents that you can use, right? Some process flow, then data flow, course structure is also there here, right? Then important links, then there is a resume guide which you can use, right, to for a Power BI developer, right? Then table relationships, there's a schema. We'll be learning all of this in detail in the as part of the course, right? We will be understanding them. Okay, so this is a folder. So in this you have the Power BI desktop course resources folder, right? So in this, if you go, you have some raw data here. This is where our data lies, right? We'll be importing all the data related to the Adventure Works dashboard over here, right? Everything is stored here. There are some images also that we can use for dashboarding, right? And there are some final files, some final built files, right? PBIX files you can, for reference and other things, you can find here. Okay. So coming to the data, just wanted to show you the data that we are going to work with, start with, right? So there is a raw data file. So these are the different tables that you have that we'll be using for the whole, let's say, demonstration and dashboarding, right? The whole dashboard will be built with this much data. Okay. So we have different tables. We have product. We have product related details, right? That comes in the 4 tables that we have. Then customer table is there, how the customer's data is stored, right? Then you have the calendar table where you store the date related fields and other things, right? Then you have returns and sales data, right? So that will be the transactional data that you have, right? Then you have territory lookup, and that's basically the location related data that you have, right? And there are some demo files also. This is actually used for pivot and pivot demo. That's okay, you can use it. And so this is what these are the let's say files that are going to use. So let's quickly maybe get some, let's say, data into Power BI. Okay, so maybe let's start with basic one table. Let's import the territory table. Okay, let's try to import that. So to import data, we have multiple places. You can import from any of these tabs. So generally, if you say this get data will be there in most of these places, right? Anywhere you see. So getting data, because data is very important, right? So in Power BI, so wherever you find some time to get data, you will have to have that option, right? So that's why Power BI has given that option to get data from multiple locations, right? So we have the import options over here, right? Get data from another source, this get data, everything will take you to this particular tab, this particular pop-up, right? I hope you can see this, right? Pop-up, everyone. Generally, pop-ups may get lost in between, right? Can someone confirm if it's visible? Am I audible, guys? I don't hear any.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you are able to see the screen, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So these are all the options that you have to import data. So before we import, I'll just give you a brief intro of the amount of, let's say, share, let's say, how much connectors that you have for different data sets that you can import, right? So there are multiple files. So if you see, there's some database related connectors, SQL Server, Oracle, IBM DB2, MySQL, HANA database, right? Multiple connectors are there which you can use to connect to multiple databases, right? You can always use this. Feel free to connect to any of these databases based on your requirement, right? Then comes basic Fabric connectors. We'll be having the lake houses, right? SQL database that is online, the cloud database, cloud SQL database, right? Power BI semantic models you can connect and all those things, right? Then you have Power Platform integrations where you will be seeing some data wars, data flows, right? All of these things are there, right? Then comes our Azure related tools. Azure SQL database is there. Then Synapse Analytics. This is what we'll be using to connect at the end, right? Then blob storage is there. Then you have the uh, multiple things, right? You can just play around. It will just keep on going. Data lake storage and all of these things are there. Even Databricks is there, right? So multiple connectors. There are some online services, SharePoint, somebody mentioned, if I remember, then GitHub, right? Multiple things. Okay. At the end, there is something called file connectors is also there. So in this file connectors, you'll see Excel, CSV, JSON, right? Then Parquet format files, PDFs, SharePoint folders, and everything. And this folder option is a really interesting thing. We'll be using this one, and this actually is a very, let's say, robust tool. Which, for example, if you want to, for example, if you have a file, for example, Excel file, and that Excel file has the data that you need, but changing the file is a tedious process, right? So what you do is you connect to a folder, and that file is inside that folder, right? And you just drop other files into that folder, and it will automatically get, let's say, imported to the query editor. So this kind of option, the folder option, can provide you with, right? That's a very good use case. We'll be doing this, so it will be useful that way, right? So in this case, we'll be importing data from our CSV file. So we have the data as a CSV file here, right? We have a CSV file. This is what we are going to import. So just click on the CSV, right? Click on connect. Okay. So this is where our all of the files, right? So you can just click on this raw data, and we'll just click on this, select our territory lookup. So just click on this, click on open. So this is the basic table structure. So even if I open the CSV file, you will find this structure itself. There are some territory key, right? There is a region data. What is the region that we're going to check, right? Country and continent, right? Which country and which continent. Okay, that's it. This is a very simple table. I just wanted to show you a basic import process and basic processes that are involved in an import. Okay, so there are two ways you can import. You can just load the data directly. That is one way you can do, or you can click on the transform data. Okay, so loading generally just loads the data to the Power BI front end, right? You will be able to see the data directly in the data view of the, that is here, the data view. You will be able to see this once it is loaded, right? Transform data, however, takes you to the query editor. So that is what generally we want to do, because before import, we want to make sure that the data is spot on. That's what we need, right? So to make sure, just click on this transform data button. That's where we want to go, right? So this will open our Power Query editor. Okay. So at last we have our first table imported, right? So first step, let's remove this title. You just want that to be simple, right? So territory lookup is done. So my name is added, right? So once I have added this, Power BI itself shows you a few steps that have been applied over here. This is really important. Uh, Actually, there are some important uses of understanding this applied steps. Okay. So just to give an intro about the Power Query Editor
Bro,
window, right? Yeah.
just one query, bro.
Yeah. Suresh,
Bro,
go ahead.
what situation we can use directly load the data, and what situation we need to use the data on combined
Transform data, you mean, right?
transform data, yeah.
So generally, if you are 100%, let's say 100% sure that your data is going to be not having any problems or any errors, or in this case, it's really small only, so you can do it technically, right? If you have, let's say, for example, thousands and millions of rows,
Okay.
right? So in that case, you cannot be sure that your data is going to be perfect.
Okay.
So in such cases, generally,
Yeah.
we get the help of data profiling tools in Power Query Editor. So transformation is actually an important step that way.
Okay.
Okay. So if you are 100% sure the data is good, then you can just load it.
Okay.
That's
So
the idea.
if I can give transform load data, then in that cases, I come to know that there were some issues in the data, so I need to clean up in the data. Is that
Yes,
okay?
exactly. So any
So,
problems you might, let's say, for example, it is a good practice generally to transform data before you load, just to understand the data a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
Right? That is what actually we'll be understanding about in data profiling tools. Okay,
Okay.
we'll be understanding that in detail.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to give you an idea about the Power Query editor, right? There are multiple things. As I mentioned, the sources are also available here. The same data sources that we were seeing, right? That will be available here also. You can do that. Then enter data option is there. Actually, you can enter some new data that you want to, let's say you did not always import the data. You can just type in some data that you want, or you can create some data using some code. Okay, that is also possible. Using DAX, you can create. Using mQuery, you can create actually. Okay, you can. mQuery is actually, mcode is actually a little bit different. We'll be not covering that in detail. You'll not be able to work with it, but you'll be able to understand what mcode is. So it is just in front of your eyes. I'll let you know in some time. Okay. And data source settings are there. Some managed parameters, including the parameters that we saw. Right. You'll be able to create some parameters. Then preview refresh. For example, if there are some database connections, you can just click on refresh, and that latest data will be loaded here. Right. Such things we can do. Properties manage, choose column. All these important things come here in the home tab. So there is a merge, append queries. We'll be using this, right? Splitting, replacing, all of these things are there, right? Then some basic transformations are available over here in this transform tab. If you can see, there are some transpose, reverse, count, right? Then replacing some values, right? Convert to list, unpivot, pivot options are there, right? Then you have formatting, basic text related formattings and number related formattings, right? You can do, right? And statistics are there, some statistical functions like minimum, maximum, all those things. Standard functions like addition, scientific functions are also there. Trigonometry, rounding, information, a lot of functions are there that you can use. Okay, that is one thing. That is a transform tab. And a lot of same functions that you see in transform tab, you can also see in add column, right? You can see the same standard function, trigonometry, rounding, information, right? Date and time duration functions, right? Conditional column, index, like most of them, like transformation, extract, all these things we found in transform also. So we'll understand what is the difference between these two using, there's a very significant difference that we'll understand once we start working with it. Then there's some view options, right? This is where you will be seeing some data profiling options like column distribution, column profile, column quality, and all those things. So column quality is currently applied. That is where you're seeing these options over here, right? If I just unclick them, you'll be not be able to see that. So you'll be seeing how these work and how these are helpful, right? Then there are some query dependencies. If there are some connections, all those things we can do. And tools are there. That's it. So these are general basic options that you see in the Power Query Editor. So one important thing, the queries that you add, you will be seeing over here. So in this case, we have added the territory lookup. So you'll be able to see that as a table, as a query over here, right? And some basic information below, like same as the Excel thing you used to see, right? Some 4 columns and 10 rows, and column profiling based on 1000 rows. So this profiling, what you're seeing is based on 1000 rows. So it is actually showing that. Some name change and everything happens here. Applied steps comes here. So coming to the applied steps, the applied steps are really important to, let's say, work with the file. Okay, for example, just give me an example. For example, now I have imported this file, right? Let's say sales territory, in this case, territory lookup, right? That's a table that I have imported. So that's the source, right? If I go to the source, if I click on the source, you can see I have imported my CSV file from this location, right? So AdventureWorks territory lookup is my file name in that AdventureWorks folder that we imported. So when I imported the data, Power BI itself, just when I click that transform data, that button, right? When I clicked, it did these 3 important steps. Okay, that generally is actually common for any data source that you pull, right? It does 3 transformations, 3 important works that it does, right? One is importing that source, storing that source file, okay? And second, it promotes the header. So if I click on the source, you can see the first row is still the column name, right? So this technically means that the name of these columns are this one. So what it does, the second step, it just promotes those headers. It just pushes those headers on the top and says that these are the headers, right? These are the files that you have. So in this case, that's done the first step. That's the first step. So this is what it does in the second step, right? Then the third step, it actually changes the type. So now if you see, it has applied a transformation saying sales territory key int 64 should be the type. Region should be text. Country should be text. Continent should be text. So these transformations it has done. So changing type is the second. So for example, before this step, if you go, you have all of them as text. Let's say this icon that you see here, right? It actually shows you that what type of let's say field it is, right? What kind of dimension it has. So in this case, changing type actually ensures that these let's say based on the values that you have here, right? Power BI itself converts those dimensions according to the type that it sees. Okay, so that is the third step. So why I wanted you to show these steps is now, for example, if anywhere, let's say my source gets compromised, or let's say there are some problems happened in this code, right? You can actually understand this code and make the, let's say, reverse of that problem, right? You can re-engineer those problems and come back to the data that you have, right? So that is actually really important. We'll be able to understand what this is. So for example, if I have this promoted headers, if you have the settings button over here, you can see, right? So what this does, it is showing me, I can actually click on this and actually select from few options that I have, right? All of the applied steps over here will have, most of the applied steps here will have that settings icon, where you can actually connect, let's say, if there are some missing links or anything, you can just connect. Even if you apply some steps here, right? In let's say in the coming, let's say lectures, we'll be applying a lot of transformations to these tables that we are going to import, right? So all of those will be applied, added here as applied steps. So if you don't want them, just click on this, let's say cross, and those will be removed. Those steps will be removed, right? So, but we have to be very careful. If some unnecessary step has been removed, then your data is lost that way. Okay. So you have to be very careful with applied steps, but it's really important, okay, to understand this. So that is it. I think most of the things are okay with this file. So let's say we have the sales territory key over here, right? These are the keys that we are going to, so these are unique, right? So this is actually going to be the primary key for this table, right? We'll be setting the primary key and everything in the next part of the course. That's the modeling, right? So here actually we are just understanding the Power Query editor, how to import the data from multiple different sources, right? And transform the data to push it into the front end. That is the work that we are doing here, just to be just as a reminder. Then you have a region, then you have a country and continent. It looks okay. All of the data looks okay. Even in profiling, it shows it's okay, right? There are some valid, 100% valid numbers. So we'll be able, and we will be understanding profiling later. Just since it is open, I just wanted to use this, right? So this is done. Everything looks good, right? So if everything looks good, just click on this, close and apply. Now this Power BI is actually loading the data that we have from the Power Query editor to the front end. So if I see here in the data, you'll have that table. So in table view also, you'll be able to see that table. So if I click on the table, you'll be able to see the data. Okay. In the model view also, we'll have one table now. So we have imported successfully our first table and started to work with Power BI. So let's save this file. Okay, maybe we'll use this file itself for the further works that we are going to do. So I'll save this file quickly. This is the shared file, right? I'll be sharing this file folder basically. So in this folder, I will paste it here itself. Okay, let's name it as Adventure Works dashboard. Okay. Just to, yeah, save it. So at last we have our first PBIX file ready to be used for all the other works that we're going to do. Okay, so throughout the course, we'll be using this file. Let's say 80% of the course you'll be seeing this file and we'll be working with it. You will also be creating this file on your laptop and you'll be working side by side. Okay. So this is the basic installation, right? Before actually proceeding further, there are a few more steps to configure the file and some basic settings and everything. So that we'll be seeing. Maybe we don't have much time to see that today. But what I want you guys to do is tomorrow, actually, we want to, let's say, in case, now this is a flat file, right, which we imported. So this flat file import is actually a little bit straightforward. You can just understand things really simple, right? You can just click on that import. Let's say file is imported, sections, everything, everything gets sorted out in the Power Query editor. You can just push it to the Power BI front end. It's really simple as that, right? So in case if you want to connect to a database, right? That also is really simple. I'll not say it's really hard, right? There are multiple connectors, as I mentioned before, right? You can use them. But the thing is, connecting to a database is one thing, and connecting to your database is different, right? So you can actually host a database on your laptop, right? And run that database when you need and pull the data, right? That you can do. So for that, what I have done is actually in this course, I have used an MS SQL Server database, Microsoft SQL Server database, and imported data that comes from a particular set of tables that you have in this set of tables that you have here, right? So in this case, we'll be importing our product related tables. So product categories, product subcategories, sorry, product categories and product subcategories, and the product table. So these three tables, right, that you are seeing, we will be importing these three tables through an SQL Server database. Okay. So for that, there are a few prerequisites. We need to install SQL Server. We need to install SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, we'll be installing these two softwares in our system. It's not very heavy softwares. This will run on your system very easily, right? You can run them and import the tables here to a database, right? You'll create a database, you'll import these tables to a database. Those tables will be used to connect to Power BI, right? So we'll always be connecting these three tables from the SQL Server. So that was an important thing I thought will be useful, right? So how to connect to a database, right? So for that, yeah, before going ahead, any questions or anything till now, like about how import data happened and everything? I think Suresh has raised the hand. Sorry, I missed it. Suresh, go ahead.
Bro, see,
Yeah.
in our system itself, okay, we have a two drive. One is C drive and one is the D drive. Example I'm giving, okay,
Okay.
which I can create the PBXC file in C drive, okay. Some reason, what I want to do is I'm copy pasting that PXCB file along with the data Excel file into a D drive, okay, where that drive will be going to change. So now, while opening, it will show some error, right, bro? So
Correct.
how I need to change the drivers when I'm opening C from C to D when copy pasting? Okay, I want to open in same PBXC into D drive. I
How
have
do
to
you do
change
the
the
change?
yeah, how to change the path, that path into the file actually.
Okay. That's really good use case. Actually, we have that in one of I think the coming soon. I think 2 or 3 lectures that are coming, right? So it's really
Okay.
simple. Just
Uh-huh.
you have to actually you have a location where you can change the path of that file. That's it.
Okay. So
Whatever you
that
have
session
imported, the
going
source.
going to be come in the coming session or something, bro?
Yeah, you'll be seeing that really soon. Now actually we have imported only one table, no? So
Oh,
once we
yeah.
import 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 tables, no, you'll be able to we'll do that. How that change in data source affects the Power BI file and how we
Okay.
will be able to fix it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that we'll be seeing in detail. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? About this data import? We'll be see always keeping on importing data, because Power BI, if any dashboarding tool, to be let's say blunt, right? Any dashboarding tool you see will have immense data to be loaded, right? So data loading is like it will become like breathing, like once you start working with it, right? Yeah. I see some question from Chaitanya. Do we need to know Python or myself and Power BI and how to be? So Chaitanya, no need to worry. You know Python well and good, I'll say. But if you don't know Python, no need to worry. You have a lot of things to learn. We will not be using Python a lot, right? We'll be just using Python, and whatever code we are going to use, I'll provide them to you. You just have to understand that code. That's it. I'll be explaining that code also. That will come at the end of the course, where you actually do some transformations on the imported data in cloud. So Databricks, right? There is where we'll be using Python. Also, R code we won't be using again. Python is what we'll be using again in this case, right? In Power BI we have M code also, but M code will not be. So coding wise, no need to worry. Even if you're a newbie to coding, right, you'll be able to understand the whole course. That is the point. So MySQL, I didn't get Chaitanya. You want to? So you're asking in the MySQL part, it will build there any coding. But actually, it's not MySQL, it's MS SQL. But just to be, no. There will be, see, MS SQL is really simple. You have to, like we did the Power BI installation, right? It's really simple. You can just install these SQL servers and you can import the tables like we did in Power BI. That's it. It's really simple. Your database will be ready in, let's say, 10 to 20 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. That's it. So no coding. I'll say the lowest amount of code may be seen in the Databricks part of the course. That also I'll be providing to you guys. I'll be explaining the code in detail, right? What the code does and everything. That will be Python, yes, to be understood, to be clear. Okay. So coding wise, no need to worry. Okay. I hope that answers many other questions. That'll be great. So any other questions, anyone? Maybe I'll take 2 minutes or 5 minutes just to show how that installation of SQL Server and other things happen. So before that, any questions still here? Okay. So let's proceed. So I have 5 more minutes. Okay, so I'll just do a quick, let's say an intro of how we can install SQL Server and MS SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so for that there are 2 links. I'll provide these links to you. So SQL Server you can install and SQL Server Management Studio you can install from here. So I'll just copy this link. Okay. So Power BI is done, right? Let's close it. So SQL Server, you can download it here. The URL is there. I'll be sharing this to you with maybe in WhatsApp also. I'll share, no problem, right? So here, if you go down, right, there are multiple options where you can download, right? So SQL Server on premises is there. Azure SQL Server is there, right? As a developer, you need SQL Server. That kind of thing is there, and SQL Server Express is there. This is what we'll be using. This is actually the most basic version on our laptop we can install, right? So just click on this download now, right? So it's really simple. Just on this URL, just come down and find this SQL Server 2022 Express, right? Just click on this download now. It will take you to the download, and you can just click on this download, right? You can save this file. Actually, I have already installed, right? So you can download this and just run the app, let's say installation file, and it will get installed, right? It's really simple. It's not very hard. If you actually, I have already installed, so I will not be able to install again. Right? I'll just show you once after the installation is completed. So this is what many SQL related files will be installed, right? So if I come here, there will be SQL Server import and export data, 22 installation center, and all those things. There are multiple things will be installed by this one file, right? No need to worry. So this SQL Server configuration manager is where you will be running your SQL Server, right? So if you open it, let it open. Yeah. So this is the SQL Server configuration manager. You will have the SQL servers that are running. You can create new servers. Actually, when you just run, right, you will be able to create one SQL server. When you run, you will give some name and other things. You will be able to run an SQL server over there, right? So that file, that SQL server that you have created will be there in the SQL Server services over here. So now this is the service that is running for me. This is the SQL server, right? And if you want to see some properties, this is the host name and other things you'll find here, right? All of the details, right? So that's it. So that's the installation for SQL Server. It's really simple. Not if you feel any difficulty, we'll discuss it in tomorrow's call. No problem. Okay. So maybe I'll share this URL with you guys. No need to worry. Next comes SQL Server Management Studio. That is really important because there is where you will see those databases and tables that you will be importing, right? So if you click on this URL, I'll use this URL also. I'll just copy this and open it. Oh, this is SQL Server. I didn't copy it correctly. Maybe. No, sorry. Server Management Studio. My bad. Let's copy it. So this is where you can install SQL Server Management Studio. So this is the front page. So if you just go down, you'll be able to see, determine this step 2, and you will be able to see this URL. Okay, download SSMS 21. This is the latest version of SSMS. So click on this, and that file will be downloaded. Same process, just install it. Nothing to worry. Okay. If you find some problem in between, let me know. Okay, tomorrow we'll fix it. So SSMS will be installed, and that is going to be this SQL Server Management Studio. So this is where you will be seeing the tables, importing the tables that you want, and doing some basic works with it. Okay, so you'll be able to connect to some databases, right? So when I just open it, it'll just ask me a pop-up. It will find the connection by itself. I need not specify the connection. So whatever SQL Server is running, right, it will just take that here, right? Okay, in the browse, all the local connections you're able to see, right? This is a local connection, so it will just find it. You can just, maybe you will give some username and password maybe while installation of SQL Server, so that you have to give it here. In case you have not left that empty, that also is not required. Okay, so just click on this connect button. All of these things are okay. Okay, just a minute. I think I have stopped it. Maybe. Yeah, it's running. Okay, 1 minute. Just quickly connect it again. Yeah. So this is the server that I have connected. So now I have all of the databases that I want. Let's say I can create new database. You can import databases, right? All of these things you can do. So why we are doing this is actually, we might have a question why we are doing this. We can actually maybe connect. I can give you a database directly and you can connect to that. Why I want you guys to do it is, one thing is actually installing SQL Server and understanding the SQL Server is also going to be useful for you guys. That is one thing. Another thing is actually in the Azure part of the course, as I mentioned, we will be connecting to an on-premise SQL Server database, right? So that database is going to be here. So you are going to actually import a a database into this SQL server. So this is the database that we are going to use. So I'll be showing how to import the database and work with it. So multiple tables and other things will be there here, right? We'll be using using these tables in this, right, to create the end-to-end pipeline. So that is why I want you guys to do it. So this is actually really important, understanding the SQL server and other things. Okay. So that's about it. This is how you can install, let's say, SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio. I'll be sharing the URLs with you guys. I think all of these 3 URLs, right? In WhatsApp, maybe you can before coming install these softwares and run and keep everything ready, right? And tomorrow we'll be doing some basic configuration and some basic stuff, right? We'll be doing and importing some additional data. Okay. So that's it for today. Any other questions? Maybe something we can spend some more time if you want. Suresh maybe was raising the hand earlier, no, I think. Do you have any other questions, Suresh?
Right now, no.
Okay.
Anyway, you are sharing those 2 links with the WhatsApp, right? So
Yes. I'll be sharing the installation for Power BI, SQL Server, and SQL Server Management Studio. So these 3 links you can install it today.
Isha
And
is
tomorrow
there
welcome
in the meeting, in the current meeting, Kalpan?
Sorry, Suresh.
That Isha admin is there, right?
Uh-huh.
No, because means I haven't received any WhatsApp call group actually. So
Okay.
how
Maybe you can just ping in that mail itself. Okay. If you don't
Sure,
get any reply, maybe we can connect tomorrow and fix it.
Okay,
I'll maybe share this URL here so that you can copy maybe now in case you miss the.
Okay,
Okay,
please.
I'm copying it here. If anyone wants, you can download it. Okay. All of the URLs are there. If you want, you can just use it. Okay, everyone. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? Anusha, Noora, then Rajkumar, Srinivas. Any questions?
Bro, I have not received that this one, bro. You are copy pasted in the chat box?
Yes. I have pasted in the chat box. It is there. You're not able to get the chat?
Yes.
Okay, got it now?
1 minute.
Yeah. Yeah, any other points anyone want to share or any questions or anything? Srinivas is typing something. Let's see. Yovani, Abdulka. Anyone? Okay. That is good, Srinivas. That's really good. If you have used MS SQL Server, we'll be using that. That's it. It's not, let's say, we are not going to learn SQL Server. We are going to use SQL Server. That's to be precise. Installation and let's say these steps are for people who are new to MS SQL Server. But if you have already installed, well and good. That is really good, Srinivas. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then, thank you guys. Let's meet tomorrow then with the I mean files installed and everything.
Okay.
Thank you for joining. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.